Hello guys, welcome in this new video. Hope you're doing well today. So in this video, I just wanted to show you all the tabs that we will have access into my Optimal Plate application. So let's go and jump in. So I'm just going to open the application My Optimal Plate, which is again a licensed product. So we're going to open it now and we're going to check all the different tabs again available into this application and all the utility and how by going through all those different tabs, you can learn more about nutrition and plan your meal and track your meal as well. All right, so first when you the landing page, so you have this button here that will allow you to adjust all the different tabs in My Optimal Plate, so that is going to fit properly into your screen. So now we're going to go through all of the different tabs one by one. So the navigation is very easy, so you can just go there and then it will open the right page. And every time you want to go back to the main menu, you can just click on the logo My Optimal Plate, and then it will bring you back to the main menu. So first, right in distribution. So here's where we got all the different term and condition of My Optimal Plate about the distribution. So again, it's a licensed product and it's protected for each user. Then you have like the instructions. So here's where you're going to have like all the different detail of the different calculation and the different parameter that you want to set in order to calculate your energy needs, your macro, and then where you're going to select your food and how My Optimal Plate is going to match your macro with the quantity of each of the food with again the like 2.2 million calculation per day. So here you can see so the calorie needs, the D-1 compensation. So this is when you want to compensate your meal from the day before with the meal today. Then you have the protein amount, the fat, saturated fat, mono, polyunsaturated fat, the ratio omega-3, omega-6, PRAL, meal, split food quantity, so on and so forth. So this is all the parameters that are useful into My Optimal Plate. So explain so that you're not lost. You can just refer to the description in order to understand what's going on. So then you set the goal. So this is allow you to set the goal for each of the different parameters, so whether if you're a man or a woman, and you have the lower and the upper range for value for each for the different range for each of the different parameter that we have here. Okay, and this is all the parameter. Then you will, when we're going to calculate our meal, you're going to compare the results of your meal compared to the expected value or to your goal for each of the different macronutrients and macronutrients. Okay, so let's go back now to the menu. So also for on this, I'll come back to this later, but you have one parameter that you're going to select, and it is going to allow you from where in the range for each of the nutrients you want to be set. So I will show you that in the right page. Okay, so in My Optimal Plate, so as it's a you can generate a meal plan, so that will automatically match your macro needs, or you can also track your meal. So here you can track your meal over 8 weeks. So here's just example. You can see, so for each of the different days, you're going to select your food that you ate for breakfast, lunch, dinner, snack 1, snack 2, and then automatically here is going to show like the calculation for the different parameters, so like protein, PDCA. So this is the quality of the quality of the protein, carbs, glycemic index, insulin index, fat, calories, satiety index, and finally. And then here you have a graph, and it shows you for each of the different carbs composition. So here you have the vitamins, minerals, and fat composition. How much your goal are reached comparing to your goal that we just spoke about. So here you can change like anything. So for example, here if I put not 3 eggs but then 7 eggs, you will see that everything will be changed automatically here on the graph. Okay, so you do that for you can do that up for 8 weeks, and then here you can see you will see a summary across all the different uh, macronutrients and micronutrients. So all the nutrients, you will see like the value in absolute, and then again here comparing to your goal, right? And then here, so you're going to have like a weekly summary. So it's going to take the value of all of the different meal that you input for each of the different weeks, and then it's going to to show you on average for each of your nutrients how much you are comparing to your expected goal. So you can see here week 1, 2, 3 up to 8 weeks. So here I got an example for 3 weeks, and you see the different values. So here you got a different graph also that show you for the PRAL calories, and then you get the macronutrients, so protein, carbs, and fat, comparing to your expected goal that we set in the parameters. Okay, so now I go back to the meal. So here you got also, you can, as I just said before, you can compensate your meal from the day, from the previous day. So you can put the meal that you had on the day before, and then you can compensate it with the day of today. If you want to compensate it either on the uh, calorie value, or if you want to compensate on the macronutrients value, so protein, fat, and carbs. Okay, so here is an example for this, but this is the idea behind this. Okay, so then the next tab here, so it's the meal of the meal today. So here you can enter your meal that you are sure to get. Okay, so here it's like foods that I'm going to put here that I will be sure to get, and then my optimal plate will calculate the remaining portion of each food you're going to select in order to match your macro nutrients. So here you got like the meal for some values for the meal of today, where you have like the for breakfast, lunch, dinner, snack one, and then you have the goal achieved with those food that you have so far. Okay, so here we have also a graph, and then so the next tab here, what we have is that it's like a meal generator. So here you can put the food that you have uh, in your fridge or at home, and then you can generate into the next tab. You can generate automatically meals, so proportionate like with protein, carbs, veggie, fruits, and fats. So here you can just select the food that you have, and then my optimal plate will automatically generate meal for you that will match your exact macro needs. So here in this tab is like the calculator. It's not something that you use on a daily basis, but it's where you get all the calculation that is going to be done. So here you can see it a bit like an engine where you're going to that's going to be plug the parameter, plug the food, and calculate the result. So here you can zoom. Um, in different ways. So you can zoom like full. So here you can see also like all the different graphs regarding your macro goals, protein, fat, carbs. So this for the different meals, so for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and then the total meal. Then here you can see like all the other nutrients available. So here you get your goals that you want to achieve, so on and so forth. So here you get the food that you select. But this again is more like a indicative. If you want to go more into detail when you plan your meal, you can just go there and then tweak the different parameter and adjust it to your needs. Okay. So here's summary. So here's like a summary of all the calculation that we do in my optimal plate for the one day meal plan. So here you can see. So here's where you have the compensation of the day of the previous day, and then you have your different food that you already put for today that are fixed, and then you calculate the remaining. So here you can see this is the goal. Here's the macro so far. So this is from the meal that we are sure to the food that we are sure to eat today. So this is the remaining goal, and then uh, here you got the remaining that you need to get for the breakfast, lunch, dinner. After we distribute the macro across just the different meal, and then here you got the calculated value. So after selecting the portion, so here is the base quantity that is going to be calculated again after up to 2.2 millions calculation. Okay. And then here's the result. So you can see here that we match really perfectly all our macro. And then here combined with the food that we had so far. And then here's like an overall macro food. So in summary, if we eat like those food here, so in those quantity, and then the food that we put into the meal today, then you're going to get the your perfect meal plan for the day. Okay, so here's like a summary of all the nutrients, and then it will tell you for each of the nutrients compared to your expected goal, and then some suggestion of what you can do in order to balance these nutrients in particular. Okay, so here you have a summary graph of all the results for your meal plan of the day that we're going to generate. So here we just see all the results, but now we want to see how we're going to select the different parameter and generate our meal. So first that's the first thing to do is to put your like email, because you can send all the results through email onto your phone directly, and then you put your name, date of birth, all the different parameters that will allow my optimal plate to calculate your calorie need. Okay, and then you're going to select how many grams per kilogram of body weight you want to eat, and then here you got the fat that you want to in the fat proportion related to your calorie needs that you want to eat, And then here you have like you have to select like how you're going to distribute your macro calculated. So this is the macro calculated. So 160 grams protein, 165 grams of fat, and 88 grams of carbs. And then you can distribute those macro across your different meal as ever you want. So you can define it, or you can select like for example, you can go for like a intermittent fasting approach, and then you will see that here you get the macro distributed on the lunch and the dinner. Okay. So I will go back to the balance approach. Here you get like other parameter. I will not go through into detail. You can see my other video that I did on my optimal plate that I will put here on the left corner. Okay. Um, then here again for the navigation, you can go to the different tab here. So if I go to 1 day plan, so here it's like the core and where all the action happen is where you're going to select your food and your portion. And then again, automatically my optimal plate will calculate up to 2.2 million calculation your different quantity that you have to eat for each of the food in order to match your macro. So here, for example, here's the fit food that I was talking about, and then here you got your food calculator. So you're going to select up to 5 food, and then automatically your portion is going to be automatically calculated. So this is really the beauty of my optimal plate. It's like an automated meal planner, so you don't need to calculate anything. Everything will be done calculated automatically for you, and then you'll get the exact macro to your goal. Okay, so here you can send also your meal by email. So just going to click there and then show you how it looks like in the email. Again, I put that in my other video, so you can check it out. Okay, so here we're going to compile all the results and all the graph of generated in my optimal plate, and then it's going to be sent straight into your phone. So I'm just going to check the mail sent, so this one here, and then you can see here all the different graph. So here you got like a macro summary, and then for the food ordered by weight for the breakfast, lunch, dinner, snack, and then you have the list, a more detailed view of all those things, where you have like more the breakdown of the macronutrients, and then you have the calorie and satiety index. Okay, and then here you have the list of foods, so that you want to eat for during the day with the price and the weight of it, and then you have like more graph compiled from the results, and then again here all the macronutrients detailed. Okay. So this is for the 1 day plan, and then you get the 7 day plan. So you can do the same, but over a period of 1 week, where you can define for each of the days. So here you have Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, up to Sunday, and then you can define just your food here as we just did for the 1 day meal. And then here you can also adjust. I didn't show you that, but here you can also adjust like horizontally, so just to concatenate and to have like a more dense view of your meal plan. And then here you can also adjust vertically, so where you're going to get more parameters. So you can see here PDCA, glycemic index, insulin index, satiety index, PRAL, and the price in euro, and then the total of all this for the day. Okay. So here you can do the same. You can adjust horizontally, or um, if you want to adjust the sheet to your screen like this. Okay, so you can go and then just select your food, and then recalculate all the different days for all of the different food that you will select, and then you can calculate all days, and then you can send also. Okay, we say no, and then you can send also all your week um, meal plan to your. So he's going to compile again all the food graph results and food list also into one image. So I'm going to show you the image right now. So when it's finishing, okay. So there you go. So you can see here that the meal just appeared. And you can see here, so your 7 day meal plan is ready. And then you can see here the parameters. Okay, so for each day, how you want to distribute your macro. And then here you can see for each of the days. So here for Tuesday, how much food you need to eat, the results, for the lunch, for the dinner, the total, so on and so forth. So you have that for each of the day, or you can, through that, you can have like pre-selected dinner and put them there. Okay, and then here you get like the list of food that you need to buy for the week if you want to match that. And yeah, one more thing here. So I forgot to mention into the Okay, here industry activated. Okay, so if I adjust here, back here you have a list of you have three favorite meal that you can configure. So you can configure here in this tab like the three favorite meal that you want to use for your meal. So you can just define them there, and then you can use them later on. So this for both into the one day plan. So here you can use, for example, breakfast. I think is the one I selected, but you can change it here. You can select that your second favorite breakfast and then the third favorite breakfast. And then we see here we're going to recalculate the different macro in order to match our macro goal. Okay. So here you got the list of foods. For this is for the 7 days meal plan. And then here you got like how we match out for each of the different meal and the total for each of the day, how we match our macro. So you can see here it's nearly perfect. And then here you got like a view of all the different meal that you will get for your week. And then here again you have a macronutrients profile for every day. So in absolute value and then in percentage value relative to your um, different goal for each of the different nutrients. So this for each day, and then you have like a summary, like an average of all of the different nutrients for across the different 7 days. Okay, so you can see you can define your different meal plan. It's going to match your macro, and then see across each nutrient which one is more, which one you have more, and the one you have less, and then you can in this sort rebalance your food as you want to progress. Okay, so here you have a tab where you have like a macro calculation. So here you can see the different steps we use in my optimal plate, where you calculate where we have the BMR or the model that we use in order to calculate the BMR. And then here you get the total daily, the TDEE, and then you have the calorie needs, so in function of goal, and then you have the different breakdown across protein, fat, carbs. Uh, in order to calculate the different macronutrients and also like fat. So here you get like the saturated fat, unsaturated fat, monopoly, omega-3 and omega-6. Okay. Then you have like the list of food. So in my optimal plate, there's more than sorry, like 2,600 food, and then you can also add your own food. So here you can put like for example my food like this. So this would be the food. Then you can put the different you can put the different parameter for each of the different nutrients. So we'll do that. I will show you how we can do it more efficiently after with ChatGPT. And then you have like all the different tools available into my optimal place. So this is, I think it's really cool to have those tools available because you can order like all the food in my optimal place. So again, like more than 2,600, you can order the food by any nutrients here. So for example, if you want to order by protein, like that, and then you can select if you want to order it in an ascending or descending way. So here you got like whey protein, collagen, gelatin, dry egg, white powder, and then if you are ascending, so then you're going to split the opposite here, and then you're going to see all the different um, value for the food. Okay, so here you have also the requirements per gram. So remember we have 160 grams, and then it will tell you like how much you need to eat of each of the different food here in order to reach your goal. And then here you have like also more detail. So for on this macronutrient, so here proteins, and it will tell you like why it's important for health, the problem if you are deficient, and the problem if you are in excess. Okay, so for example here I can select another, like I can select like omega-3, fatty acid, and then it will tell you, so this is very important. Then it will tell you like which oil here, so you get like linseed oil, cod liver oil, sardine oil, chia, dried, and then here it will tell you like the amount of omega-3 per 100 grams, and then here for how much you need to eat in order to eat to in order to match your goal. So for example, sardine, you will need to eat 50 grams of sardines in order to reach your goal of omega-3 in the day. So that's a very cool point. So the second tool here, it's a ratio of two nutrients together. So here you have like for example carbs on fiber, and then it will calculate the ratio. So for example, so I can take like proteins, and then I can take I can take the price, and then it will tell you like the cheapest and the more expensive protein. So here you can see like the first one. So it's soybean whole grain. So here you have like the ratio is going to be 10.08. So here and then you can go down like that, so you can see like you can have a relative amount, you can have a relative idea of how much costs 1 gram of proteins, for example, um, for the food you select relative to the price. Okay, so you can select any nutrients here or parameter, and then it will tell you. You can get like vitamin D also. And then you see like cod liver oil. So this will be the cheapest way to get your vitamin D, which is very important during the winter. Okay, so here you can also, the tool number 3, you can compare 2 different foods. So here you have access to all of the 2,600 plus food, and you can select any of them and you can compare it to another food, and then to tell you, it will bring you the difference. So here, for example, if I select the beef, I can put 10% um, cooked, like that. So I want to compare the beef when it's cooked or it's raw, and then it will show you across all the different nutrients the results. Okay, so here you can see you have like all the different minerals and then the vitamins. So you can see that's interesting because we can see here that, for example, we can take like potassium. So here you have more potassium when the beef is cooked rather than when it's raw. Okay. Um, what else we can here? So for example, the insulin index. So we can see here it is higher when it's cooked rather than it's raw. So here you can say, okay, I want to eat if I don't want to spike too much my insulin, then I'm going to eat my beef raw. Okay, and then for um, calories, obviously it's higher when it's cooked because you lose some water in the cooking process. Okay. All right. So for the tool number 4, so here we want to have we have a equivalence tool for 2 different foods. So for example, you want to have here we have a kiwi. So 70 grams. So here you can see like the portion. So we can define any portion you want. And here you can see, so we have like 70 grams for 1 kiwi, and then this macronutrient. And then you want to select the amount if you want to get the same amount of carbs. So here you can select, obviously, so the weight, the protein, fat, carbs. So here we get the carbs, and here we're going to select the equivalent of a banana. Okay, so here in order to get the same amount of carbs, so 10.47, we're going to need to eat 0.47. So let's say 0.5. So half of a banana or 50 grams, 53 grams of a banana in order to get the same amount of carbs. So here you can do the same. You can select any food and portion quantity, and then it's going to be automatically calculated for the equivalent food. And then finally, the last tool that we have here is in order to order or to select one food that you need to eat in order to match your macro goal for a specific food or your breakfast, lunch, dinner, or for the whole day. So for example, for the breakfast, okay, so I will need to eat 53 grams of proteins, 55 grams of fat, and 29 grams of carbs, with a total of 825 grams. So here, if I want to eat one food that will be equivalent to my meal, I will need to eat. So this is the one that matches best. I will need to eat fish terrine pre-packed. Then you will need to eat 500 grams of this. So this will give you 54 grams of proteins, 55 grams of fat, and 27 grams of carbs, and 800 calories. So here it's nearly matching your whole breakfast. Okay, and then you can do you see here all the food ordered, and you can do the same for your all day lunch, dinner, or you can select any food. So for example, if I select this food, then the first one obviously will be this one, and then you see that it's going to match exactly. But if you want to replace this food by another food, then you can select this one, and then it will tell you how much you need to eat of this food in order to match the macro of this food. Okay. So then to finish here, you have more parameters. So like you have the so here's the meal split where you are allowed to define. So for the first 3 line here, you are allowed to define your macro split across your breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Obviously, you want to make sure that the sum is um, it's a 100 for each of the different meals. So this is you can personalize this distribution. Okay, so here you got like the parameter for the different portions. So here you can define obviously your own portion, and then with the volume you can calculate your the volume. If you have like for example a banana, you have the volumic index. So this is from the database, and then you can enter the weight. So you can weight your banana, and then it will tell you like the volume of your banana. And then you can just put here like 126. And then based on that, your portion will be defined. So when you're going to select a banana portion into the my optimal plate, is going to be adjusted to the volume of your choice. So here you got like different other, you have other, you can modify that, but this is like standard parameters for eggs, for example, tablespoon, teaspoon, and then here you got the portion in grams. Okay, FX rate. So here's for the when you calculate the price, so you can change the currency across the different results. Okay. So here, if you want to have to put a new food, you can just copy this list and ask and put it in ChatGPT and ask ChatGPT to give you the value for this particular food. Okay, and then you can just paste all those value into the new food in order to get the new food added. But the list of food is very extended, so to again more than 2,600 food available. So here is what I showed you previously, where you have like all of the different your favorite food meal that you can preset. So here, for example, I'm going to select cooked instead of raw, and then if I want to select that into my 1 meal plan, I can select the favorite breakfast, and then you can see here which one from cooked from raw to cooked. Okay, so I'll go back here. And then and then finally you have like recipe. So there's more than like yeah 50 recipe for the lunch and dinner, and for the breakfast there are like 20 different recipe that you can use in my optimal plate in order to define your food. So if you need to get some inspiration and want to define your some recipe that you can use in my optimal plate. Okay, so that's it for this tour of my optimal plate. I hope you enjoyed. Let me know if you have any question, and if you are interested to purchase my optimal plate, just click the link into and to get more information, just click the link in the bio, and then it will bring you there. Thank you, and have a nice day.